All right, let me cut to big news coming in from Karnataka. Pro-Kannada activists in Bengaluru, the Kannada Rakshana Vedike, going on a complete rampage in the city of Bengaluru, right in Bengaluru Central. They've been going about vandalizing public property, protesting and demanding that businesses and establishments must have Kannada written on their signboards. During the protest there, they vandalized nameplates, sprayed black ink on most of those signboards along the way that are all written in English, literally tearing apart those boards, hacking some of the signages that have been put up in several business establishments. Those that are in English, they are pulling down in such a manner without the fear of law or any kind of consequence. In fact, the cops there seen trying to stop them, but yet the KRV members going on a complete rampage, brazenly heckling and threatening people for putting up English signboards. Those are the visuals there coming in. In fact, right now, the KRV have taken their protest towards Airport Road. They have literally created mayhem and chaos along the Airport Road toll plaza. Right now, they're seated in Dharna along the Sadihalli road, along... in fact, that's en route towards the Bengaluru airport, Kempegowda airport. That's where we see that the KRV activists have been seated, protesting. Despite police presence, a lot of the areas they've gone on a rampage, hacking signboards that have English written on it. There you see, ripping them apart. In fact, many of the boards there were torn apart by the Kannada Rakshana Vedike, despite the BBMP, also civic body, giving a deadline of Feb 28th for establishments to comply with the order. So the civic body's order in Karnataka says, at least in Bengaluru it says, business enterprises must in fact have 60-40% rule, basically 60% Kannada, 40% English or any other language. So those name boards that are not complying or establishments that are not complying with it might even lose their license. This is a BBMP's order, but we see clearly here the KRV taking up law into their own hands, creating mayhem, almost heckling business enterprises in Bengaluru. Anaga joining us on the phone line. Anaga, give us more details on this.
Nabila, from morning, the pro-Kannada activists have been taking up black ash and smearing on the name boards, of shops that have that have the title in any language other than English, in basically non-Kannada signboards. From morning, this kind of heckling has been happening. In the morning, we saw the kind of protest in the airport toll road, and after that, in major CBT areas near MG Road, Commercial Street, Laval Road, Church Street, all of those shops that have their signboards in English or in Hindi, those shops are being vandalized. The Karaway activists, they are claiming that their hands are bleeding and the shop vendors assaulted them. But the kind of visuals we are seeing, it just looks like it's completely opposite. It is the pro-Kannada activists that have taken law into their own hands. They have entered the shops, pulled down signboards, taken law into their own hands. Despite the fact that the government has taken cognizance of this, the BBMP has issued a notice that Jan 15th is the deadline for big establishments and big malls. Before Jan 15th, they must change their signboards to 60-40 ratio Kannada and English. And for small and medium-sized shop owners, the deadline is Feb 28th. Despite the fact that we have a government order, it looks like there is no law for the pro-Kannada activists. They are completely attacking all the Marwadi shop owners, claiming that there is some sort of oppression going on, and that is why the pro-Kannada activists from morning, they've been pulling down, hitting signboards, vandalizing them, almost heckling, physical fist fights that we are seeing in Bangalore right now by the pro-Kannada activists.
Anaga, we know that the BBMP has given a rule and a deadline of Feb 28th before which signboards need to be changed to comply with the order. But this is absolute mayhem. It almost appears as if the Bengaluru police is not able to contain law and order. What is the Home Minister Parmeshwar saying? What is the Deputy Chief Minister who also looks after Bengaluru development for Karnataka, DK Shivkumar, saying? Where's the Chief Minister's response to this?
DK Shivkumar has not responded to the kind of heckling that we are seeing from Karnataka Rakshana Vedike, but he has come out and stated that Kannada should be first. All name boards, everything, it should have Kannada in bold letters. 60% should be Kannada, and 40% in English. That was what we heard from DK. But so far, he has not spoken about the kind of heckling and the harassment that we are seeing from Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. They've taken law into their own hands, and they are physically attacking and fighting with the shop owners. That is completely undone. We've still not heard a single word from Parmeshwar or from DK Shivkumar. However, they have come out talking about the law that 60-40 ratio will be followed from now on, but no word yet on the kind of heckling scenes that we are seeing. But so far, with what we spoke to Marwadi shop owners, they say that they have accepted Kannada as their first language. They do, they will follow the rule of the land. But what they really want is some more time to sort of change the name board because that requires some procedure to be followed. So all that they're asking for is time. But the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike, while their intention is fine, it is not questionable, but the way in which they are carrying out this activity from morning, physically fighting them, smearing black ash, almost, this is just like hooliganism. That's what the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike people are doing. And even Nabila, they issued a threat to even the cops. They stated that if cops do not interfere, then they will face the wrath of us. That was what we heard from Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. So at this point, they're not even sparing the cops, is what we hear from the people on ground.
All right, Anaga, they're joining us live. If we could get you on live camera, Anaga, that would be great. Please do come on live at the moment, as we know that these are visuals coming in of the Kannada Rakshana Vedike. They're completely vandalizing property in the central business district. This is the visual that you see on your screens there, coming from Level Road. Level Road there, business establishments that have been aligned, that are aligned there, have all English signboards. It's, first of all, Bengaluru is a global city. You have global audience, crowds there that come in from across the world to work. The IT sector is really known. It's known as the IT capital of India. And at a time when we see business flourishing in the city of Bengaluru, here you have the Kannada Rakshana Vedike demanding that signages are all written in Kannada. In fact, Kannada should be 60% and the rest should be any other language that one chooses to, English preferably. But here, many of those signages that do not have Kannada on it, the Kannada Rakshana Vedike taking it upon themselves to smash those boards, inevitably vandalizing public property with complete brazenness that they are moving about, heckling people, threatening business owners all along streets of Bengaluru. Anaga, if you're with us. If you're with us, if you're patched live, please do bring us more details on what exactly is the police commissioner saying. Has the police commissioner responded to this?
Well, Nabila, so far we have not heard a single word from the cops. The law and order situation is out of hand at this point. The police have not yet responded so far. But, from the visuals that we saw, that we had people thronging in huge numbers to all the shops in the commercial street. Commercial street has businesses from across India. People from Rajasthan, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, people from all over India have their business establishments set up in commercial street, and that caters to a global audience, as you rightly said. People from all over the world come to commercial street to buy, to buy clothes because it's there at an affordable rate. Commercial street is one of the most happening places in Bangalore that we can go on to say. And right in this place is what we are seeing is the kind of protest that is erupting by the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. They came in huge numbers, thronged inside shops, forcefully pulled down the name boards, and even they had black ash with them. They smeared the black ash on non-Kannada signboards, not letting the vendors come out of their shops either. However, in that sound bite that we have, they mentioned that they did not enter the shop, but with the visuals that we can see, they're outrightly taking up tools, they're taking up cudgels, and then they're smashing on the name boards. Completely, the law and order situation is out of hands in the MG Road, Brigade Road. However, last night, a protest invitation was sent, but still, the cops haven't done anything to sort of contain that situation. Had they been on ground, the security could have probably been tightened up, and this complete mess that we are seeing in the central business district could have been averted. However, nothing was done. The Vedike workers will continue to carry out their activities, the kind of hooliganism that we just witnessed. They continued to do what they wanted to do. the law and order situation went out of hand. We're still yet to hear from the commissioner himself about the law and order situation. Will there be any sort of compensation that will be given to the shop owners over there who had their investments on point? Will there be a compensation? What is going to be their next fate? Because, ideally what with what we're hearing that some of the goods were also damaged in the shops. A lot of financial loss has happened in the central business districts. We're still yet to get a lot of clarity on what compensation will be given to these shop owners.
All right. Well, Anaga there bringing us some details. We're going to try and patch her live, but this is highly unfortunate as we see that business establishments are being heckled and threatened by the pro-Kannada organizations. More news coming in. Main leader of the pro-Kannada organization, Narayan Gowda, has been detained by the police near Bengaluru Airport toll during these protests. Update here on Narayan Gowda, who is one of the key members of the Kannada Rakshana Vedike. He's been detained by the Bengaluru police right at the Bengaluru Airport toll. One should know that Bengaluru city en route to the airport is one of the busiest lanes. And along that lane, we know the KRV have been seated in protest. They've been trying to block off traffic, create chaos, and really draw attention of authorities to ensure implementation of the BBMP rule on 60-40, 60% Kannada on signages, 40% English or any other language. And clearly, despite the BBMP Commissioner giving a clear direction that there is a deadline of Feb 28th before which companies must comply. Here we're looking at hooliganism in its full view, where people there heckling, Kannada Rakshana Vedike heckling business establishments and not a word coming in from the government, the Congress government in Karnataka, really letting them loose to a point where they've taken law and order into their own hands, moving about the central business district. Today is a working day. We know that businesses are fully functional, and we see them smashing signages, boards that have English written on it instead of Kannada, and warning those business owners that they'll come back and they face grave consequences if they don't comply with the rule. So just in the name of upholding Kannada language, Kannada culture, we're looking at pro-Kannada groups here, unfortunately, indulging in hooliganism. Tragic state of affair right now in Bengaluru.